Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you why I bought this 2013 Lexus GS 350 F Sport, and I think you should too. So first, before I actually show you why I bought this car, I want to give you a backstory of why I even got this car. So before this, I actually did own a Lexus. It was a 2006 Lexus GS 430, so I'm not completely new to Lexus. I owned that car for a little bit over a year, and it only had 58,000 miles when I bought it. I paid a lot of money for it, almost $20,000. I definitely did overpay, but I ended up selling it because that car was more of a cruiser. I loved it. It was incredibly smooth. It obviously had a 4.3 liter V8. If you know anything about the 430, it was incredible. But I like a car that can handle better, a car that's more sporty, and that car was more like an LS in a way. Instead of cruising, I'd rather actually go around the back roads and have fun. That's why I bought this car. So with that out of the way, let me give you 5 reasons why I bought this car, and I think you should too. So the first reason would be this car is actually pretty rare. Lexus actually doesn't make it anymore, and it's literally the perfect balance between luxury and sport combined. This is the last generation of the Lexus GS, but mine is the pre-facelift version, so that's why it looks a little bit older. 2016 is actually the first year they introduced the facelift. Whenever someone thinks of Lexus sedans, they probably think of an ES or maybe an LS. No one ever really remembers this car. Obviously it's not made anymore. That could contribute to that, but it didn't really sell that well. That's why they don't make it anymore, which is very unfortunate, but the buyer market for this car wasn't really there. So I'll give you a quick rundown of the Lexus sedans, that way you can understand where this fits in. So you have the ES, which is like a Toyota Avalon or a Camry, and it literally is based on the Toyota Avalon, so it basically is just a rebadged, Toyota. Then you have the IS, which is actually a really cool car. It's nimble, small. The only reason I didn't really buy that is because it's honestly too small, and I wanted a car with more space. And then after that you have, which it is technically my car, but I'm gonna go to the LS, which is, the last guy. The LS is basically the grandpa cruiser car. It's really cool. It reminded me of my 430 because back in the 2000s, they actually did make a Lexus LS 430 with that same engine. And that car is obviously strictly meant for cruising. There's nothing really necessarily sporty about it. But say you're like me and you wanted the sportiness of the IS combined with all of the features, almost all of the features of the LS. That's where the GS comes in. And like I said, Lexus doesn't make it anymore. There wasn't really a huge market for it, unfortunately. But this car literally has almost all features that an LS has, and it has all the same characteristics that makes the IS great. Rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. Mine is rear-wheel drive, so it's more fun than the all-wheel drive. It is super sporty. There's so many features about this car, which I'll cover in a little bit, that make it incredible and make it super luxurious. The materials, everything about it is perfect. And you still get all of the sportiness of an IS. You literally don't make any compromise. It does weigh a little bit more, but I'll get into why that doesn't really matter with my specific model and why you literally cannot feel the weight. Now the second reason would basically be the reliability of this car. Now after all, you can call this car a Toyota. It's not like the ES though. The ES, like I said, is literally based on a Toyota Avalon. You have the Lexus LS, which is literally just a Toyota Land Cruiser. You have the Lexus GX, which is the Toyota Land Cruiser Prado. Those are all based off of a Toyota. They are basically just the Toyota variant with a tuxedo. You can technically say that. Now this car, the IS and even the LS, are technically not based on any Toyotas. The older models of the GS they were based on the Toyota Century, and I'm pretty sure this one isn't. It might share some parts, but 90% of it is fully Lexus derived. Lexus made it all. So that does make this car pretty special. There's basically nothing Toyota about it. And yes, of course, you look under the engine bay, you're gonna see Toyota badges because this is built by Toyota in some sense, but 90% of it is not. So reason 3, that would be the features of this car, basically everything you get with it, and especially the value for the money here. There is so much you get with this car, so much luxury and so many even sporty features, which is why I really like this car. So I'll first show you the interior and then I'll show you some of the exterior as well. So the first thing to note here are the seats. As you can see, there are a lot of adjustments. I'm pretty sure it's a 16-way seat, so there's a lot you can do. One of my favorite things is the leg extender here. Press this button right here. As you can see, it extends the leg. Another really cool thing, and this is F-Sport exclusive, I'm pretty sure that is too, but the bolsters on the seat, if you press this button, they actually either squeeze or go back out. I'm not sure if you can see that, but that is extremely nice. I have mine all the way on again. When you're going around curves in this car, it is extremely nice. It really holds you in place. It's kind of like a little bucket seat, but at the same time being incredibly comfortable. So moving on to the actual interior now. The first thing on the door are these memory seats. A lot of cars do have that. A lot of luxury cars nowadays, everything has that. Everything's kind of a luxury car, if you know what I mean. But moving on to the actual like center console area, this does have the Mark Levinson sound system. If you know anything about Lexus, you know that a lot of them don't have that. That is a pretty rare option. Definitely was for this car as well. Then if I pull this back, I have parking sensors and a rear sunshade, which is actually really cool. Another one of my favorite features is the analog clock right here. At nighttime, I'll throw in a picture, but this looks incredibly nice. You also have heated and cooled seats. It's very hard to see there. I have my cooled seats on actually right now. And also, if anyone is wondering, you do get Bluetooth in this car. As you can see, it says BT audio right there. And in addition to that, you do get an aux port. Another feature you get is this drive mode selector here. Now in the F Sport model, you do get Sport Plus. You also could get that in the luxury package, which is pretty rare, but in all base model GSs, you did not get that. So as you can see on the screen here, let me raise this a little bit. If I turn it to the right, it goes to Sport S, and then if I turn it again, it goes to Sport Plus, which that's what you get in the F Sport. As you can see, it shows a little graphic tightening the suspension, the steering, and engine performance. It basically just makes it shift a little bit faster. It also makes the steering a lot stiffer, which is really good for handling, and it makes you feel a lot more connected to the road. And yeah, like I said, it also adjusts the suspension as well. And that is F Sport exclusive. You do not get that in any other model except for the luxury, which is very rare. You also have paddle shifters, which is pretty standard in most cars these days, but the GS actually did not have it before 2013. These are super nice, and it is a real kind of manual mode. It doesn't select the gears for you. Old Lexus models, you could do it here, and you still can. You see plus and minus right there, but it would kind of select the gears. It wouldn't actually hold the gears. I literally can put this in 6th gear going 40 miles an hour and floor it, and obviously I'll barely go anywhere instead of it downshifting for me like the old Lexus models would. Now another rare option I actually got with mine is the heads-up display. I'm not sure if you can see that right there. These are the controls for it. Most GSs you find, if you look in the photos, if you're looking online where they're basically selling it, you won't really see this. A lot of them don't have it. It will just be the odometer trip and these 3 buttons here. You won't usually see this. If you do see that though, you're in luck because you found one with a heads-up display. I'll lower this real fast, so hopefully you can see it. But that is what it looks like. If I rev it, you'll be able to see it. And you also have an electronically adjustable steering wheel. As you can see, if I hold this down, it goes up or down, pulls out and back. And now on to the features of this car that are F Sport exclusive. I'll move on to the exterior in a minute, but first I'll show you the rest of the interior. So here, obviously, you have the F Sport badge on the steering wheel, but you also get this nice perforated leather. It feels amazing. It's just a more grippy and a better looking steering wheel overall. You also get the aluminum pedals under there. Hopefully you can see that. And you also get the aluminum trim. This is actually real metal. If I don't know if you can hear that, but that's real metal. It's on the doors, on the dash, obviously. And yeah, it's probably one of my favorite F Sport feature. Definitely looks a lot better than the wood in the base model. And lastly, you get in the interior black headliner, which I know is pretty common in new cars, but Lexus didn't really do it back then. They first did it in the 2008 ISF, but here it is in this car. As you can see, I mean, it just makes it look a lot better. In the base GS, it is a tan cream color. I'm not really a fan of that. So it being all black in here, and as you can see, I have black seats. I mean, I have a fully black car. You can actually also get this in a red seat configuration, and this part on the door is red as well. It looks incredibly nice. So now moving on to the exterior of the GS. Once again, I'm mentioning specifically F Sport things here. So first off is the bumper. It has this kind of hexagon shape here. The base GS is just standard lines. This looks 20 times better, and I'm not just being biased here, it really does. You also get these, which are unfortunately fake vents here, but my favorite thing about it is just this kind of design here. It looks really nice. The base GS kind of just, it has fog lights. You could get fog lights in this. I don't really see any US models of that though. It's really just Japanese or European models. But yeah, the F-Sport bumper on here looks, in my opinion, 20 times better than the base bumper, and it just makes this car look so much sportier. And then lastly, for the exterior, or technically not lastly, you get these 19-inch F-Sport exclusive rims, which looks so nice. And because this is the rear-wheel drive model, and because I don't have the all-wheel drive, this is actually a staggered setup, meaning I don't know the exact specifications. I can throw them up on the screen, but the rear tires are actually thicker and wider, which helps give it obviously a wider stance, but it actually means it does handle a little bit better too. And obviously you get an F-Sport badge right here just to show that it's the F-Sport. The 2014 models did actually have an F-Sport badge on the rear. The 2013 doesn't, but as you can see, my car is debadged, so it does look really nice. A few F-Sport specific things I forgot to mention are you actually get bigger brakes on the F-Sport as well. So I'm pretty sure they're 14 or 14.5 inches, and you don't get that in the base model or the luxury model. You only get that in the F-Sport. So it's not just the 19-inch rims, you also get better braking performance. And like I had already mentioned in the interior, if you do put the drive mode selector to Sport Plus, it does stiffen the struts, and it also makes the steering rack a lot tighter. And the last really cool feature about this car, which is not F-Sport exclusive, but it actually has rear wheel steering. And what that means, and what I mentioned earlier in this video, is this car handles extremely well for weighing a little over 3,800 pounds. It literally feels like you're on rails whenever you drive. I can throw a picture or even a video up on the screen right now, basically showing that in action. But depending on how fast you're going, they will either turn inward to help you corner faster, or if you're going on a highway, they will turn the same direction as the front wheels to kind of make you glide across. I don't know if you've ever seen a Hummer EV do that, but it's the same kind of principle here. And to have that on a 2013 car is actually really cool. All right, now reason number 4 would simply just be the value that you actually get out of this car for your money. You can literally find one of these with the F-Sport package, by the way, for let's say $15,000. I put some pictures on the screen with around 120,000 miles, maybe a little lower, maybe a little bit higher. If you specifically look for 2013 to 15 years. The 2016 facelift, you will be a little bit more expensive, but either way, if you get the pre-facelift like I have, you're getting basically the same car. There's pretty minor changes other than appearance. And if you don't want the F-Sport package, as you saw from reason 3, there are a lot of things you get with it that I think are definitely worth it. But if you still don't want it, you can probably find one with around 120,000 miles for maybe the $10,000 to $12,000 mark, which either way, you're still getting the same engine. You don't get any, performance enhancements necessarily like engine-wise with the F-Sport. If you really want more performance, that's where you go to the GSF, which was released in 2016, but you're not finding those for anywhere under 40, 50K. Even if you find higher mileage, you're still not really gonna find anything lower than that. Now, a lot of people would say for around $15,000 that you should go ahead and buy like a 2014 IS350 instead. And I actually disagree. Number one, that car is the same speed, if not a little bit slower than this car. I know that doesn't really make any sense, but the 2014 IS350 uses the 8-speed transmission, which also is in the 2014 and up GS350. The only year to have the 6-speed and be rear-wheel drive is the 2013. So I'm super lucky as I was able to find this, because it's actually a little bit faster than all GS350s 2014 and up. This is literally the fastest GS you can get, 2013, the only year. And you don't have to get the F-Sport, obviously. If you find a 2013 GS350 non-all-wheel drive that's not F-Sport and you don't really care about the F-Sport, then go ahead and get that as well, because it's a little bit faster than all the other years. It shifts quicker, the 8-speed kind of hunts gears. It's just not nearly as good. And also with the IS350, you get cheaper materials everywhere. The doors have some scratchy materials on them. The navigation screen is a lot worse. I don't know if you saw, I didn't really mention it, but in the interior, there's a 12-inch screen. It was actually the biggest screen in any car at the time in 2013. But yeah, if I were you, I would just buy a GS instead. The 3IS is, and another weird thing about it is they're actually a little bit more expensive or the same price. And as I mentioned, you get a lot more car with this. So I would definitely buy a GS instead. Obviously I'm biased, but it is what it is. So lastly, reason 5 would be the resale value of this car. Now, it does not hold its value as good as the IS. As I mentioned, the IS is the same price, if not a little bit more expensive than this car, which I feel like it shouldn't be, obviously, because you get a lot more car with this. But maybe that's just because it is, you know, not in production anymore and the IS is. And this car literally has 144,000 miles on it. I have not mentioned that yet, but it still looks and feels and drives almost perfectly brand new. I'm very surprised by it, and at the end of the day, it is a Lexus, which literally is the most reliable brand in the world. If you don't believe me, look it up. It'll say Lexus or Toyota. So yeah, that will be the end of today's video. I will be making more videos about this car. My next one specifically will be how it's held up basically after almost 150,000 miles. So if you're thinking about buying this car, definitely subscribe and hit that like button. You will not want to miss the next video. And yeah, either way, just go ahead and comment any ideas you have for me that I can make about this car, or ask any questions about it, literally anything. And if you stayed to the end, you're a real one, and I appreciate you watching.